Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Alex, this is my M5, and today we're doing some fun mods to it. So since I have my drive shaft out of the car, it's a good time to redo my shifter. So without further ado, let me show you what we are working here today. I have this shiny metal ball that's somewhat attached to my shifter that I want to get rid of. And also I'm going to put E60 545, well I think they are the same, but it was listed as 545 part, the shifter, which works as a short shifter for E39. And also I have this F10 M5 Shift Knob. I had to re-glue the frame because the F10 has different frame than the E39, and it might be a little too tight. We'll see when I put it in, because there is not a lot of play when moving it from side to side, so it might be too tight. But when trying to remove this ball, I broke one of these locking pins somewhere here, so there is no way for me to remove the ball. Well, maybe using excessive violence will help, but we'll see about that. So I might have to also replace this boot, which I currently don't have, so we'll see what it costs. As you can see, I've already removed the center console for cleaning and conditioning. And cleaning I still am yet to do. You don't need to remove it to do this job. So my drive shaft is currently out, so this is a great time to replace all my shifter bushings. I mean, this is currently in the gear and it has quite a lot of play. It's not the worst I've seen, but it could certainly be better. So, looking up from under the car, you can definitely see why having the drive shaft and exhaust removed really helps. Everything is just exposed right here. You can reach everything really easy. This is doable with the drive shaft and exhaust in place, but I think like reaching right back there might be quite tricky. The shifter itself could be possibly quite easy. You just have to pull this clip like off. Maybe I'll need to use a screwdriver or something, and then you slide the pin out and you can pull the shifter out. Like so. Then you have these plastic washers here on both sides. We're not gonna need them with our E60 shifter, but the stock shifter uses those. Now we have both clips out. And this side also had washers, but mine disintegrated when I took them out. Well, we have replacement ones, so it's no big deal. Then you just slide this rod off of both ends. It's quite tight on the other one. Just wiggle it and fight it a bit. It will come up. Here we go. And washers on this side. Well, this side fell off. Then you have the other shifter loose. All you need to do now is go inside the car and turn this bearing. Now that we are back inside the car, move your wobbly shifter out of the way. And you see this plastic cup that the ball sits in. As you can see on this new part, there's this wider bits on both sides of it, and there's this plastic tab. You need to take your screwdriver against this tab and rotate it about quarter of a turn clockwise, and it will free it from these grooves on the side of the shifter assembly thing. After that, you just take your shifter and pull it up. That's a theory. We'll see how it works out. Well, it almost worked out perfectly, but I couldn't get enough leverage from the tab itself, so I took a smaller screwdriver and stuck it between those pins and pushed it until it was free. And as you can see, those, well, maybe you can see, I don't know, those wider bits are now compressed, so it should now just pull. Well, maybe not quite yet. We'll see. and as you can see, it pops right out. So here are both the shifters side by side. This is the E60 shifter, this is the stock shifter. As you can see, the E60 shifter is longer below the ball, which will give you shorter throw. And it is also shorter in itself above the ball, which will give you that shorter stick. I also was able to drill out the old knob and salvage this rubber boot. It cleaned up quite nicely. This is the kit I bought for this job. It comes with all the bits you need. The squishy foam pad is on the inside of this, but we're only gonna need 2 of these washers because we're putting E60 shifter, which in itself has this plastic lip coming from the metal housing. To remove this, you need to push this metal ring so that it clears the spin hole. This spin hole here, I used a screwdriver to push the ring from here. Then take a big tool or something similar to reach from the upper side and push the pin out. Here, come on, like so. And then maybe we can just pull it out. Yep, here it is. This should just pull off, like so. Now all we have left is this carrier piece, so we're gonna take a screwdriver to dislodge the spin. I have already moved it a bit, so you grab it from the slip and just push it up. It pops out. Then you can just pry it out, like so. And as you can see, you just twist it up and pull up. For this, you take whatever fits in the holes and pry it off. Just wiggle it from side to side, and it will pop off eventually. And here it popped off. You can see it has these tabs which go in these grooves, and all you need to do is pop them off. Do make note of this orientation, because it has this cutout which faces the bottom of the car, and also it has this rubber hood which sticks out a bit, just pushed in from here. So this side sticks out a bit, it's towards the engine, so it goes in like that. Here, having this side by side, you can see that you can fix a lot of play by replacing just this squishy pad on the inside. If you could test it, this bottoms out here, and this, well, it's not even close, and that's gonna translate into a lot of play in your shifter. To get these out, I tried a few things, but what ended up working was I took a socket extension and a hammer and pushed the bushing inside so it was flush with the other bushing, and I then took a screwdriver and just pried the bushing like this, and it popped from the other side, and you could just remove it with a hand quite easily. Then I used the same extension and a hammer and pushed the other bushing from the other side. It's pretty straightforward once you have this in your hand. It didn't take very much force. I tried cutting this with a Dremel tool, but there's metal on the inside. I think you could just take the lip off and it could slide out from there, but didn't seem like the easiest way to do this job. Now to get the new ones in, you can use a soapy water to lubricate them a bit. And then what we're gonna do is just Then you might need to use your finger to just push the lip over the metal so that the whole bushing sits on top of this. As you can see, it's all even. And then we'll do the same for the other side. Make sure it's even. Attaching this bushing is real simple. Remember which way it goes on. If you don't, there's also arrow on top of it which points towards the front of the car. Just slide it on. You can still move it on here, so if you don't get your alignment just right, it's no big deal. And now it's just a matter of reassembling everything using new parts. First, put this where it belongs. Oops, almost put it the wrong way. So, like so. And this bushing, make sure that it's the groove match with these tabs. And then just push it in. Might take some force. Oh, it went by hand. As you can see, the new pin that I got is a different design from the old one, and it doesn't fit. As the old one locks from the left side, the new one has a locking tab on the right side, and there will be no way of releasing it under the car, and it just doesn't fit. Put the new, or in this case the old pin, back in and lock it down. Like so. Also, these two are different. As you can see, the new one has a plastic bit sticking out from the metal, and the old one is pretty smooth. But I measured it, and the new one is exactly the same as the old one with these yellow washers on either side. So I'm pretty sure we can just use the new one without washers and be okay. To get this on, you need to push this pin in and through the attachment, while at the same time pushing here to compress the new foam pad that's inside of here. Once the pin is completely in and even on both sides, you lock it in with this ring, pushing it down. Attach this cup to your shifter. Just pop it right in. And then give it some grease. I am using white lithium grease. A tiny bit will do. Just spread it around evenly. Now we can put the shifter back in the car. Make sure to put it the right way. It has a slight knee or a kink towards the back side. So it goes like this. Just put it in so that it sits inside, and then rotate it counterclockwise to lock it in using a screwdriver. When reattaching the selector rod, make sure to put it the right way. It has the bent side on the gearbox facing down. And because of the parts I am using, I don't need the yellow washers, so I can just put the clips on and it will be finished. But if you are using the stock parts, make sure to put the washers back in. And now we have clips in place on both sides. So let's go in and test this out. There is still some trim and pieces to install, but just to test this out, let's see. Oh my god, this feels so much better. Look how crisp it is, and just this feels like a race car, I suppose. I have no real experience in those, but I mean, come on, look how much shorter the throws are now. This really is probably the best thing you can do for your E39. This is just so much better than it was. Now, as you see, my car has a older style connector for the shifter illumination, and the new shifter has the newer connector. So you could do this either way, but I'm gonna put the old connector on the shifter. And a quick test to see if everything works before we put it all back together. Turn the lights off and my parking lights on, and look at this. Perfect. And here's the finished product. I'm quite happy with how this turned out. Maybe not 100% happy with how the leather stretches over the frame. May have to reglue it, because like when going in reverse, it kinda stretches here, and when you put it in sixth, it stretches here. It does not pop out of the center console, but I'll drive like this, and if there's no problem, good. Otherwise I will reglue this, but as of now, I'll consider this job done. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.